Hello and welcome to Introduction to Meditation. This is week 6. So, just in case anybody has forgotten or you're just attending this for the first time, I just thought we'd start with a little bit of a recap of what we've done over the last 5 weeks. So we started by looking at this very traditional, very important, very powerful foundational skill of awareness training, whereby we simply place our attention into the present moment. The most commonly used anchor for doing this as a place to focus is just on our breathing. So we focus on the breathing, and as we do that, there's a bunch of things that are happening, but one of them is that when we're able to rest simply in paying attention to this breath, for however long, for however short a time you manage to do that, we're starting to become familiar with a different state of mind. It's this state of mind where we're just aware of the present moment. Not all of the thinking, planning, worrying, agenda, striving, all that stuff. We're not doing any of that. We're just resting in the present moment. And you can use the breathing, you can use your body, you can use emotions, you can use sound, you can use something you're looking at like a candle flame or a certain type of picture that you stare at. So there are various practices, and we did this for 4 weeks. We looked at awareness training, placing our attention in the present moment. And one of the things I really wanted to stress in this was that you can do this. This is not something that's difficult or out of the realm of possibility of ordinary people. You don't have to have perfect concentration. You don't have to hold your focus relentlessly on your breathing, or else you're doing it wrong. Part of the exercise is not just about becoming familiar with the present moment, it's also about becoming familiar with our own mind and starting to notice it and notice that it doesn't do what we tell it to do. We might say, okay, I'm going to focus on the breathing. And within seconds, your mind is like, no, you've got more important things to think about. And it takes you elsewhere, and we follow. And one of the things that we're doing in this meditation is we're starting to notice that and learn about it, becoming more familiar with our mind and becoming more familiar with this state of present moment awareness. Then last week we changed track and we did a different type of meditation where we looked at mantra meditation. Mantra meaning crossing over the mind, where you repeat a word or phrase over and over again and just allow it to do this somewhat magical, mystical thing it does, where it can take you, even if just for a few moments here and there, but it takes you beyond the mind into this state where there isn't really much thought going on. Some people call it a transcendent state, whatever. It was just something that we worked on this week. It's a very interesting, very powerful, very useful technique. Not better than awareness meditation, I would say. Not worse. Just another type of meditation, worth knowing about, worth practicing. And then we are now at week 6. So we're going to do something different for the next 2 weeks. So we're right in the middle. So we've done 5 weeks leading up to this 2 weeks, and we'll do 5 weeks after these 2 weeks. So these are right in the middle of the program, and they are, I'd love to say it was deliberate. It was designed this way. It's not. But it happens to be nice because this really is the heart of the program. And really, there are many ways you could say everything else is really about these 2 weeks. The other 2 meditation techniques are important, valuable, useful, and you need to practice them. You need to do them, or at least one of them. You need to do them. But this is the bit that really matters. This is the bit that can change everything. So I'm excited that you're here. So thanks for joining. But before we get into all of that, let's do some meditation. So we'll always start every week with this basic awareness meditation, focusing on the breathing. It's a way of getting us settled. It's also just a reminder, because this is the foundational skill. This training of awareness, training of our mind, starting to notice, rest in the present moment, and notice our own mind. So we'll always start with this. Then I'll do some talking, we'll do some more meditation, I'll do some talking. At the end of the day, it's really about the meditation. And this week is easy. Everything's guided. So, except for this first one. So, just invite you to take your seat. The instruction is always that you want to be comfortable, but you also want to be able to hold focus. So not too comfortable. Falling asleep is great. It's just not what we're trying to do tonight. We'll do that later, hopefully. So taking your seat such that you're alert but comfortable, which usually means sitting upright, whether in a chair or on a cushion. And take a nice deep breath in. And then let it all the way out. And once again, invite you to take a nice deep breath in, but this time see if you can hold it at the top for a moment. And then let it out very slowly. And when you get to the bottom, just take another nice deep breath in and hold it at the top again. And then let it out very slowly. Just noticing your breathing, noticing your body, noticing any tension you're holding in your body, like your shoulders, your hips, your back. And just letting go a little bit. And then allow your breathing to return to normal. Before we really start, I just want you to notice what's on your mind. What have you brought to tonight's class? We carry our world around with us, with all of our responsibilities, our to-dos, our concerns, our worries. And they're all important. Just aware of what you're bringing in right now, what's on your mind, and just see if you can make a conscious effort to allow yourself to let them go. Just give yourself permission to leave them alone for 90 minutes as a way of just taking a break, and then hopefully being able to come back to everything in your life a little bit more refreshed, a little bit more clarity, a little bit more balance. So as you breathe out, just see if you can let everything else fall away, all of your responsibilities, your worries, just allow them to fall away. And allow your attention to rest on the breathing. Just noticing the sensation, maybe a very specific sensation right at the entrance of your nostrils or on your lips. And just feeling the breath at that specific spot as you breathe in and as you breathe out. It's just a reminder that the mind is going to do what it does. And we want to approach this without judgment, without too much effort. The mind will do its thing and it'll try and drag your attention away, and that's fine, it's normal. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. When you notice your mind has gone somewhere else, that's a really important moment, and then just notice that it happened. My mind did that thing the English guy said it would do. And then see if you can then go back to the breathing. Let everything fall away. Just focus on that breath. That may happen over and over and over again, and we just keep refocusing back on this breath. Without judgment, without frustration, without expectation. Just allowing the process to unfold of placing the attention on the breath, the mind doing its thing, and then coming back to the breath. I'm going to do this for about 10 minutes. We're about 3 minutes in, and just remind you to be very gentle with yourself when you notice your mind is gone somewhere, or if it's really racing and you find it very hard to settle. See if you can just be very gentle with yourself and with your own mind, and we're just seeing what it is, accepting it, but then redirecting our attention back to the breath, over and over. There are just a few minutes left. Just encourage you to keep persevering. So no matter how many times the mind takes you away, or for how long it's taken you on a particular track, see if you can just keep going with the exercise. Keep returning to the breath as often as you can. Whenever you notice where your mind has gone, it's gone somewhere, then see if you can let everything fall away and just rest on the next breath. Just invite you to take a deep breath in and let it out. Just to expand the area of your attention, to notice your whole body, from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. Noticing all the big obvious sensations, probably like what you're sitting on. But also just scanning your body and noticing all the hundreds of little sensations. What your hands are touching, what your legs are touching, sensation of clothing on your skin, sensation of your face, all these tiny little sensations that are only happening right now. So as we bring them into our attention, pay attention and become aware of them, we're placing our attention into the present by definition. I just invite you to check in and notice also how you feel right now emotionally, without trying to change it, without having a conversation about it. See if you can simply notice what you're feeling right now. Take another deep breath in and let it out. And when you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into the room. So here we are, week 6. The heart of the program, right in the middle. And it's all about heart. But I have to start out with a bit of a confession, which is that I feel a little bit of a fraud teaching this. I think I probably know quite a lot about meditation, probably more than most, not more than anybody. I'm not an expert, but I have been studying it a long time, and I've practiced in all sorts of different places, in all sorts of different traditions. I'm fascinated by it. I've studied it a lot, from the mountains in the Himalayas to monasteries in California, all over the place, all over the world, and lots of different traditions. And yeah, I think I know a bit. But in this realm, which I now believe is the most important realm, I came to it very late. And it wasn't my teacher's fault. My teachers were like, this is important. And you can imagine there's a lot of talk about compassion in meditation circles. And I kind of went through the motions. I did what I was supposed to do. I did these exercises and I did other related exercises. I read books about it. I wrote essays about it, which I have since found, and they're not bad actually. So I obviously read the books and thought about it. But I just didn't think compassion, love stuff was for me. I thought it was really nice that people did it. That's great. Makes the world a better place. But it wasn't for me. I thought it was for nice people. And I wasn't particularly interested in being nice. I was working on Wall Street. There wasn't a lot of room for nice. I was doing meditation for other reasons. I wasn't that interested in the compassion thing. I sort of thought of it as slightly weak, to be honest. I thought it was something people did because they wanted to be liked. I mean, goodness knows I wanted to be liked. But I thought this was kind of like the weakest strategy in becoming popular, was to be nice, to be kind, to be generous. I'm embarrassed because now I can't imagine I know how I thought that, but now I recognize it's like one of the hardest things to do, requires enormous strength and courage, and there's so much in this practice. So, it took me a while, but I finally got here, and I'm still very much a work in progress. Anybody who knows me well is probably going, what is he teaching people about love or compassion? And I get it. I'm a work in progress. I like to say I've come a long way. I have a long way to go. And I now feel so passionately that this is such an important practice that I hope I can convince you to do this. And maybe it's not like a one and done. You don't like do this practice and all of a sudden you become a saint. I'm certainly no saint. But I think there's a continuum of this stuff, and we can get better and better and better. And what better thing to do for the rest of our lives than to work on this, which every civilization, every culture, every religious tradition, even virtually every pop song has said, surely love is the most important thing. Yes, there are lots of other important things too. But this could be possibly like, this is the last game really worth playing, is to really explore this, to play with this, to develop this, to cultivate this. So, how do we do this? Well, the premise of this is not that we're trying to achieve something or make something happen or create some kind of artificial state in us. We're not doing that, actually. We are cultivating an innate skill that we already have. We have this quality within us. You know you have it, of love, kindness, compassion, generosity. We have these incredible abilities, but maybe we don't practice it quite as much as we might. So the premise is that we have these, but they are skills that we can work on and we can develop. Because just as we have these skills of love and kindness, compassion, generosity, we also have the other qualities of selfishness, jealousy, judgment, anger, frustration, ego, all these other things that take place as well. So it's a question of trying to notice where we are and then seeing if we can pull forth, bring out, unveil, uncover and develop these other innate qualities that we have. There's a Sufi poet, I think he's about 10th century-ish, probably wrong about that, but from a long time ago, a guy called Rumi, and I think he says it very well. I'm going to read the quote. Your task is not to seek for love. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers you have built against it. So there is this, the premise is that you have this deeper self. You are familiar with it, you touch into it, you have a sense that it is there. It is that truest part of you, the best part of you. That part of you that you know has courage and wisdom and balance and joy and creativity and perhaps most importantly, love. Deeply loving. And that's who we are at our core. But the problem is that we get lost. It gets obscured. We get confused. There are all these other messages in our society, from our parents, from our teachers, from culture, from TV, from the media. You watch a TV show, you watch a movie, you look at YouTube. There are all these books. There are so many opinions out there about who you should be, what you should do, what you should have achieved, how you should be, how to be better at X, Y, or Z. All these different messages, and it's not that they're wrong or unhelpful, but that there are so many of them that our sense of who we are, it gets lost. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers you have built against it. So the idea is that we've sort of just lost touch with this part of ourselves. And in these practices, we're just getting back in touch. We're directing our attention back towards that piece of ourselves that sometimes gets lost, clouded over. So let's give it a go. It's a relatively, there are two different exercises we're going to do. The first one, we're going to try and familiarize ourselves with this feeling of love. So love is an active, it's a verb, I don't really want to get into the philosophy of love, but just suffice this to say that whatever you think love is, one aspect of it is it's a doing. It's something we do. We love others, we love ourselves. We're not seeking for other people to necessarily love us in this exercise. That's great if they do, it's nice. But in this, we're seeking to develop that capacity and quality of love for ourselves and for others. So it's a verb. So it's a doing. It's something we do for others and for ourselves. But before we can do that, we need to get in touch with what it is. So this first exercise, I'm going to ask you to envision various people from your life with whom you feel very comfortable and who you know at moments in your life they have loved you. So there may be a conversation in your head that, these things passed away, or they annoyed you, or you fell out, or something happened, or they didn't stay in touch, or it wasn't as perfect as you might be. We're not looking for perfect. We're just looking for moments when people have loved you. So great friends, maybe your parents, maybe a family friend, somebody that you saw when you were young and was always thrilled to see you. Teachers, mentors, coaches, therapists. If you have a religious figure in your life, like a priest, a rabbi, imam, anybody who you have felt has demonstrated that quality of love, has seen you, listened to you, believed in you from any point in your life. And what we do is we try and bring them into our mind and see them in front of us and allow ourselves to feel, to open up and to feel that love that they have had for us. It can be challenging. There can be all sorts of voices of unworthiness. And if that happens, just invite you to notice it. But to see if you can open yourself up as much as possible to accepting this love that people throughout your life have shown towards you. So I invite you to sit up straight. Do want you to be comfortable. Comfortable is very important in this. We want to be kind to ourselves. So sitting up straight, take a nice deep breath in and let it all the way out. And once again, nice deep breath in and hold it at the top for a moment. And then let it out as slowly as you can. Just getting in touch with your body. Noticing any tension you're holding. Seeing as you breathe out if you can just ease any tension from your shoulders, from your belly, from your hips, from your back. And then allow your breathing to return to normal. And I just invite you to picture yourself in a place where you feel extremely safe and comfortable. It might be in your living room, it might be on your deck, it could be in your garden, at the beach, in a forest. An ideal location for you where you feel safe and comfortable. And then I'd like you to bring to mind people from your life who it's just been great to be around. They saw you, believed in you, heard you. If you go back to early in your life, maybe you had a best friend. Regardless of what happened to that friendship, just seeing them as they were then, as your friend, as somebody that cared about you, was interested in you, liked hanging out with you. And just see them with you. Maybe your parents, or a family friend, a relative, anybody who really cared for you. Sometimes parents can be a little tricky. But if you really felt that from your parents, just bringing them along as well, at their best, and noticing that probably, mostly their intention was to show love for you. Maybe you had a great teacher at school. A mentor at work. best friends in college, or even people who you've hardly known, but you know they had that quality of really enjoying your company and you enjoyed theirs. Maybe people you met abroad on a trip. Just see all of these people in front of you in your safe space. And as you look them in the eye, just notice this feeling of kindness, generosity, and even love that they have for you. And if you're having a hard time accepting this, some people find it helpful just to put their hand over their heart as a way of softening some of that resistance. And just breathe in this care that these people have had for you. And if there's any character from history, maybe a religious figure, maybe a historical figure, or even somebody you've read about, somebody that inspires you with their ability to show generosity, kindness, and love towards all people. Which, if you're a Christian, might be Jesus, or Nelson Mandela, or Mother Teresa. Or anybody else that's really inspired you historically with their kindness for all people. And invite them to join your circle. And just allowing yourself to look these people in the eye, see their smiles. Try and quieten any voices of doubt or regret or unworthiness. And see if you can just open yourself up to feeling what these people have wished for you. They're sending you this loving energy like rays of sunshine, and just allowing it to bathe you and fill you up. See if you can just recognize that there have been people in your lives who have cared for you, loved you, however imperfectly, in their own way. And to see if you can hold that for yourself. They loved you as you were. I think sometimes we assume they loved us because they didn't really know who we were. But the brutal truth is that they did. We're not that good at hiding who we really are. They knew who we were with all our faults, with our vanity, with our selfishness. They knew all of those little foibles that we tried to hide. and they loved us anyway, just as we were. So allow yourself to feel this. And then just looking around at this group and thanking them for joining you, thanking them for their kindness, and recognizing that this kindness is always available to you. It's always present. And take a deep breath in. And let it out. When you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into the room. So, filling ourselves up with love in order to be able to then give it away. I think there can be this sense in which we're always supposed to just give it away. Be very selfish to take any love. We have to give love all the time. But you need some to give some. So it's good to fill ourselves up first. There's another quote I want to read. Which I'm having a hard time getting, but there we go. Now, some of you who've taken my class before will have heard this quote before, and many of you also may have heard this quote. There's various stories on the internet about its origin. Some people say it's an old Cherokee story. Some people say that's rubbish. It's just a story that Billy Graham used to tell. But regardless, I like it because I think it illustrates what we're doing here. So, the story goes, an old Cherokee is teaching her granddaughter about life. Inside every person there is a fight, she said to the girl. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. She is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. She is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you too. The granddaughter thought about it for a moment and then asked her grandmother which wolf will win. The old Cherokee simply required, the one you feed. And I think that's what we're doing here. In the literature and the teachings on this subject, the word I see most commonly used is cultivation. So we are trying to cultivate this. It's as if there is this seedling in your heart, seedling of love and kindness. But it needs nurturing, it needs cultivation, it needs food and water and light. We need to shine a light on it, to focus on it, to allow it to grow, allow it to get strong. And that's what these exercises are about. And it's not one and done. I'm a work in progress for sure. But this is work that can be done. It's a skill that can be learned. And what better skill to learn? And primarily for ourselves. I know there's this sense that, I want to be loving for other people. And that's great. It's a wonderful idea to have, and it's a wonderful thing to do, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But we need to start, like the way that this is transformational is that we start with ourselves. when I started looking into this, I looked at a lot of different theories on love, a lot of different philosophies, and it's pretty confusing stuff. We use one word in English. The Greeks use 5 words, and obviously it means a lot of different things. And there are entire great, fantastic books written on it, from somewhat philosophical like Eric Fromm to sort of more pop psychology like M. Scott Peck, and a lot of things in between, and a lot of ancient stuff as well. But recently I came across a definition that I liked a lot. It's very simple, and it's not all-encompassing, it's not complete, but I like it a lot. The Dalai Lama was asked, well, how do you define love? And he simply said, it is the absence of judgment. The absence of judgment. So when it comes to yourself, I wonder how much absence of judgment there is. I know with myself, plenty of judgment. Every time I screw up, it's like, oh, you idiot. Oh, you fool. You should have worked harder, been better, been so many ways in which we judge ourselves. Love is the absence of judgment, or at least that's one definition of it. The absence of judgment, the acceptance of you exactly as you are. And that's hard. And that's why we work at it. So, with this second exercise, or second love exercise, third meditation, I'm going to guide you. It's a 5-step process. And so it'll all be guided, all on audio. And I'm going to ask you to repeat certain phrases. Traditionally, the phrases are things like, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. You can use any phrases you like, and if English is not your first language, please don't use English. There's nothing great about English particularly. Use sentences from your native language, but it doesn't really matter which ones you use. The idea is that we're just going to repeat certain phrases over and over. So may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease are perhaps the most traditional phrases, but they're not the only ones you can use. Some people say, may I be free from danger, may you be free from mental suffering, may you be free from physical suffering, may you live with ease. The 3 I tend to use are, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with joy. Only because I've always found the live with ease thing a little bit clunky. It is traditional and I know what it means and I get it, and it's probably better in many ways than living with joy, but I just like living with joy. So that's what works for me, whatever works for you. And I will repeat those 3 phrases over and over and over again, so you don't have to memorize them particularly. But I'm going to ask you to, it's a 5-step process, I'm going to ask you to bring to mind the person that you love the most unconditionally. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but whoever it is, might be living, might be dead, might be your dog, doesn't matter. Whoever comes to mind, who is the easiest person for you to generate these great feelings of kindness, generosity, love and compassion for? And that's all you're going to do, is you're just going to generate, well, see if you can generate that feeling. And if you can't, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is to just say these phrases. Picture this person and say these phrases over and over again with intention. So what we're doing is, as we learned in the first 4 weeks about awareness training, our attention, our mind is always somewhere. It's always somewhere. Sometimes it's on ourself and our lives and how sorry we feel for ourselves. Sometimes it's on a TV show or on a movie or whatever. Might be at work, solving a problem, whatever. Our attention is always somewhere. And in the awareness training, what we're doing is we're just choosing to place it somewhere else. We're choosing to place it in a specific place in the present moment. And this works a little bit similarly. It's not quite the same, but it's a little bit similar insofar as by repeating these phrases, what we're doing is we're trying to take our attention and direct it in this direction towards kindness and love. So with some intention towards the person that you're saying it to, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. And you don't have to be perfect, and you're going to lose concentration and all that's going to happen. But just at the very least, keep trying to say the phrases, and to the extent that you can, keep bringing your attention back to saying it as well as you can with intention. So the 5 steps are this person that you love the most, yourself, which can be tricky, but just do your best. Somebody neutral. Now, there are lots of ways this is described. Traditionally, it's often somebody who you don't really notice. And that's fine. It's never really worked for me as a description. So I've always preferred, it's just somebody that you don't know very well. Somebody that you see, you interact with, you know them, but you don't know them well. You don't know them well enough to know whether you like them or you don't like them. So I've always brought to mind, somebody at the dry cleaners or at the post office, or somebody who waits on me in a restaurant that I go to. It can be a neighbor, it can be a work colleague, somebody that's in your life, but you don't know them that well. And we're just going to do our best about sending them love, kindness, generosity. Step 4 is where we up the ante a little bit. We make it a little bit hard. And the invitation is to think of somebody that you find a little bit difficult. Now, we're not going for somebody that you hate. This is introduction to meditation. It is not advanced love and compassion for your enemies or something like that. We're just practicing. We're experimenting with this thing a little bit. So we're just making it a little bit harder by bringing to mind somebody who's a little bit annoying. That might be a work colleague, it could be a neighbor, might be your child, it could be a spouse, it could be all sorts of things. But a family member is often a good place to find one of these. So if somebody comes to mind, that it's not that you hate them, you don't hate them, but they can be annoying. And in this exercise, we are not condoning behavior. We're not looking for forgiveness. We're not trying to do any of those things. We are trying to approach them with a little bit of kindness, though, and understanding. Not to agree with them or to forgive them, just to see them as human and flawed, just as we are. And just to practice a little bit of kindness when it's hard. And it's supposed to be hard. We're stretching ourselves a little bit on that part. And then for the last part, we open ourselves up to all beings, which can be tricky, but just do your best. So I like to picture myself out in space, looking back at this beautiful blue marble that is the Earth, and picturing all the billions of people and trillions of animals, and just doing my best to open my heart as wide as I possibly can, without judgment, and just trying to send good wishes to all beings. So, once again, taking your seat such that you're comfortable, but not too comfortable, but comfortable. And take a nice deep breath in. And let it out. Once again, nice deep breath in, but this time hold it at the top for a moment. And then let it out as slowly as you can. Just releasing any tension you're holding in your body. And then allow your breathing to return to normal. Just invite you to bring to mind the person that you love the most. The person that it's easiest for you to open your heart towards. Just picture this person. See yourself sending them all your love and kindness, recognizing that sometimes we're a little bit ungenerous with our love. We hold back a little bit as if it's a limited resource. We only give it out when somebody deserves it, or we give it out in limited amounts in case we run out. But the truth is, you can give all of your love away, and you still have it all left to give. It's not that we don't get hurt, we do. But that's part of the price. So see if you can open yourself up as much as possible. Maybe your default love is at a level 6 or level 3, or we're trying to ramp it all the way up to 10. Opening ourselves up towards this person, allowing ourselves to feel this beautiful feeling of wishing them well. And just start to repeat these phrases as you see them in your mind's eye. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. And just keep repeating those phrases over and over again in your mind as you picture this person before you. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. And just see if you're still holding back a little bit with your love. See if you can open yourself up a little bit more. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. Okay. So now we're going to move to the second part of the exercise, where you're going to try and direct that same level of kindness and love towards yourself. And this can be quite challenging for many of us. Powerful voices in our head that we're not worthy of this, that we're flawed, we're imperfect. And if you find this tricky, you're not alone. But we're just going to do as much as we can. I want to get into a conversation about the fact that it's hard. It's just part of being. It's part of our culture. Or you may feel guilty about giving yourself love. And just recognize that this is just an exercise. Nobody's watching. Nobody knows. And there's actually tremendous value in being able to send this in your own direction. Love is the absence of judgment. We're trying to, at least for a short amount of time, have an absence of judgment towards ourselves and feel this love towards ourselves. For you are imperfect, just like everybody else. You have made mistakes, and you've done dumb things, just like everybody else. And you are also perfect, and just as worthy of love as everybody else. So see if you can open yourself up and allow yourself to feel this. And at the very least, just keep saying these phrases over and over with some intention. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with joy. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with joy. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with joy. And do your best with this, and don't beat yourself up if you're finding this hard. Just do as much as you can. This is about kindness, first and foremost. So be kind to yourself and just do as much as you can, and at the very least, just keep saying the phrases over and over. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with joy. And again, if it helps, just put your hand over your heart as you're saying the phrases. Just to soften perhaps some of the resistance you have against this. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with joy. Okay, for the third part of the exercise, I'd like you to bring to mind somebody you don't know very well, somebody that's in your life, but not somebody that you know well enough to know if you like them or you don't like them. And the exercise, as we practice and cultivate this quality and our capacity for kindness and love, is just to recognize that they're a human being with hopes and fears, just like you. They have or will experience grief, sadness, loss, just like you. They have great qualities, and they're imperfect at the same time, just like you. We're just going to try and practice this exercise of sending them as much as you can. And at the very least, saying the phrases towards them with intentionality. So really trying to place your attention on the phrases. Just seeing them in front of you and just saying to them in your mind, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. You have this incredible capacity for love. We're just practicing it. We're bringing it out into the open, giving it a workout. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. Just keep saying those phrases over and over. I don't want you to force anything. We are uncovering. But in the event that you find yourself, the corners of your mouth are starting to turn up and you smile, let yourself smile as you say these inwardly. And if that's not happening, don't worry about it. But maybe allow yourself to smile if you're so inclined. As you see this person before you, sending them all of your love, just because. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. Okay, so now we're going to raise the difficulty level a bit and invite you to think about your somewhat annoying person. And this isn't to forgive them. It's not really for them at all. They are a way of creating a little bit more difficulty for us to help us build this capacity, to test it. So it should be a little bit difficult. And then just to see what you can do, to see how much you can do this. So bringing this person to mind, remembering this is entirely for your benefit, not for theirs. This is giving your capacity for love a little bit of a workout. Bringing this person to mind and recognizing that they are human and flawed, and they make mistakes. They get things wrong, just like you. Maybe different things, maybe worse things, but they're just human, doing their best. We're not forgiving or accepting or giving them a free pass for whatever it is they do or have done that was wrong, but we are wishing them well, wishing that they would be happy and healthy and experience joy. They struggle just like you do. They experience loss and sadness, frustration, anger, just like you do. So just wishing them well. Just see yourself at the very least saying to them over and over, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. And if this is difficult, remember it is supposed to be. Just do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just notice where there is resistance. And then see how much love you can send them, and just at the very least just keep saying the phrases as best as you can. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with joy. Okay, so for the last part of this exercise, we're going to wish all beings well. So it's best not to try and think about this too much. It's not practical, it's not realistic, any of that stuff, but it doesn't mean you can't wish for it. This is sort of the advanced training part of this, is to wish for it, to wish that all beings be happy, to wish that all beings be healthy, to wish that all beings experience joy. So whatever works for you in terms of picturing all the people on the planet, all the animals, all the living things. Opening your heart up and realizing you have so much more capacity for kindness, love, and generosity than you probably even realized. So really stretching this out to the corners of the globe. And at the very least, just saying over and over, may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with joy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with joy. Just keep saying the phrases with as much intention as you can direct. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with joy. Just opening your heart up as much as you possibly can, just to practice this capacity you already have. Reminding yourself of how powerful this is, and how powerful you are in your capacity for love. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings live with joy. And take a deep breath in. And let it out. And just take a moment to settle, to connect yourself back to your breathing. Connect yourself back to your body, noticing the big sensations, the subtle sensations, maybe wiggling your toes a little bit, wiggling your fingers. Take another deep breath in and let it out. And when you're ready, open your eyes and connect yourself back into your room. So I'd just like to remind you to be very gentle as you transition from this meditation back into your life. There's definitely a time and a place for going full tilt at all of your issues and problems and concerns and to-dos and all that stuff, but maybe transition gently from the meditation into the rest of your evening to see if you can carry some of this with you into the rest of your night. So I glanced and just saw a great question from Adelsina about how do we incorporate this? Well, I'll just tell you how I do it. And that is, every so often, I'll actually just spend a week and just do it. But what I try to do, and I can't say I'm successful with this every day, but what I try to do is I always start with a little bit of awareness meditation just to settle the mind, settle the breathing, settle the body. So I'll always start with a bit of that. And then I will do my main practice, which for me is a combination of things. It's a complex practice that we will get into later in the series, but it involves visualization and mantra and also it's body centric as well. Some people call it chakra meditation. So if you believe in chakras, like there's energy centers in the body. So I do chakra meditation with a mantra and a visualization. But then I always try and finish the meditation with just a very short, maybe 5 minutes of loving kindness meditation. That's what I try and do. But if you can join this week, every morning we'll start with 3 minutes of breath meditation. But then we will actually just spend a good probably 10, 12 minutes. It's a relatively short amount of time on this loving kindness meditation. So we might not do all 5 parts of the exercise. We might chop and change and do 3. And we'll always involve ourselves. And we'll probably always involve the person that you love the most. And then we'll probably swap in and out the other parts of the exercise. But the full exercise is the 5 parts. But maybe join, if you can. You're all invited to join for the morning meditations. You can join it live at 8:30 Eastern, or they're always recorded onto YouTube, so they're available later in the day. So that's all I have for this week. But encourage you to try this out. It's not something that you can master in a moment. But why not work on this? I'm going to work on this for the rest of my life. And I may not be very good at it yet. But I hope to keep getting better. I know I've got better. And the changes are not necessarily what you might expect. And this is why I'm so passionate about it. This is transformational at a fundamental level that just changes everything. Everybody's always said love is this greatest power. And I don't know if that's true. I'm kind of cynical and jaded. But what I do know is it's really powerful. It can change everything. So let's give it a go. At least for this next 2 weeks anyway. And then see what you like after that. But I'm going to try and do this for the rest of my life. Hope you can join me on that journey. So thank you very much, everybody, for your attention, for your support, for trying these things in this weird and difficult time in our lives. Just invite you to do your best with this. It's not, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect at loving. Just do your best with it. Maybe every so often during the day, just find yourself saying, may I be happy? Or if you see somebody, if you're out and about and you see somebody being dumb or stupid or inappropriate with their social distancing or something, just maybe notice your first reaction might be judgment and annoyance, maybe even anger, and then just see if you can just say it. You don't even have to mean it, but just see if you can just start when you see somebody doing something like that. Just see if in the back of your mind you can just say, may they be happy. May they be healthy. May they live with joy. And you don't have to mean it. Just say it. They'll never know. But it'll make all the difference to you. So thanks again, everybody. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may your week be filled with joy. I'll be here at 8:30 in the morning and here again next week to continue with this journey of love. Thanks so much, everybody.